Oh man.
Yeah, just woke up. I ain't gonna wake up. It's a beautiful day. I ain't feeling your side.
Man, shootings, no health care, high inflation, the damn housing market. We're talking about M&Ms and shit. What was this one? Let me play this. I don't remember this.
I'm Amy Goodman. Today's Christian Science Monitor, an article on the new Homeland Security Act, begins: when you board a plane in the next year, your pilot may be armed. Make a call from a payphone at the ballpark and it may be tapped. Pay for a sandwich with a credit card and the transaction may wind up in an electronic file with your tax returns, travel history, and speeding tickets. These are some of the ways that the biggest reorganization of the federal government in half a century could trickle down into the minutia of the daily life of Americans. The Homeland Security Act that President Bush is poised to sign is sweeping in scope and will have big consequences, intended and unintended, on everything from civil liberties of Americans to due process for immigrants. We're joined right now by the author of the Christian Science Monitor piece, Gail Russell Chaddock. Welcome to Democracy Now!, Gail.
Thank you. Good to be here. Well, I think the most important aspect of it is that it is doing today what the defense reorganization after World War II tried to achieve, which is massively reorganizing the federal government around a purpose. In this case, it's the purpose of protecting facilities and detecting terrorist threats early and in advance. Is it possible for an agency of this size to actually share information in an intelligent way? They're seeking to combine databases that cover all kinds of information, ranging from phone calls, wiretaps, translations of foreign materials, to travel plans, to traffic tickets, to gun purchases. It's a colossal undertaking, and I think its effects we're going to see more clearly down the line.
I'm Amy Goodman. Today's Christian Science Monitor.
What I find interesting about this is they didn't roll back none of this stuff. And it's like what it says, power never concedes power, or something like that. Like they're always looking for an excuse to, have more power, to grow the government in certain ways, or to be able to do more surveillance, or do more, screwing over the people, basically. So 9/11, it was horrible. It was a terrible thing that happened, but they looked at it as an opportunity, and they ran full force. They created the Homeland Security, a whole new branch of the government, and they started doing all of these things as a result. We haven't had any more terror attacks like this or whatever. Well, maybe you could argue it's because they have the Homeland Security and they're doing all this surveillance. I think not. I think that incident was an excuse for them to be able to do all of this stuff. And they haven't rolled back any of that stuff. They've expanded it without any more terror attacks on our land. Let me read this. It says, today marks 20 years since Department of Homeland Security began operations in late 2002 after the bill that would establish DHS was passed. Democracy Now! Spoke to reporter Gail Russell Chaddock about DHS sweeping powers and what Americans would soon come to expect under the government's new security apparatus. So what's crazy about this, like I say, is we didn't have this before, and now we're all just comfortable with it. It's like, it's okay, it's all in the name of safety, right? And what is the quote? It says, a man who values security over liberty deserves neither. You put these walls up. It's like the burglar bars that they used to have on all of the buildings in the 90s, 80s and 90s. I don't remember. I think it was the 90s. They had burglar bars on all the buildings, the apartments, the houses. Everybody had burglar bars, but people was burning down their house If the house caught on fire, something like that happened, they couldn't get out and they died, you know? And the same people probably never got broken into. Nobody ever broke into their house, you know, never got robbed, never had no kind of situation like that. But the security ended up being what killed them, you know? Burglar bars are dumb, you know? That you're just locking yourself into a damn prison. And that's what we're doing. That's what we've done as a result of 9/11 and more surveillance, you know, less liberty, less freedom, more security. Let me read a comment. It says, all of this surveillance and yet mass shootings continue to occur weekly. It's almost like we aren't safer at all, and it's just an illusion that serves the state rather than the well-being of the people. It's basically what I said, but much better worded. Let me read some more. It says, sad to see that not many liberals cover this anymore. Another comment, and here we are today with virtually zero privacy, basically in the hands of the government. Another comment, it says, the biggest explosion in the size of our government in modern history, overseen by the party that was at that very moment decrying big government. Blatant power grab by the executive branch and the Cheney administration. Yeah, that's an interesting comment, because you think about on the Republican side, on the conservative side, they're the ones that's always talking of, you know, they don't want more bigger government. They want smaller government. And I ain't gonna lie, I agree with that. I agree with that. You know, I don't think that you know, we do need more social programs. So if you call it social programs bigger government, then I disagree with it. But I don't think you know, the government is not going to save us, like the other guy said in the other comment. So, you know, bigger government is not helping us, you know, and that's where we're talking about debt, the debt ceiling now. Big over bloated bureaucracy, just a money freaking machine that helps no one but the, you know, people that's in it. The people just fund it. We don't get no benefits from it. Let me read some more. It says, any liberals or progressives calling to abolish the DHS or not? It ain't no, get that all the way out your head. It ain't happening. Abolishing the DHS, it's not happening. Get that all the way out your head. You know, both parties are going to be like, you're talking crazy talk. Let me read some more. It says, should have never been created. My late mother taught this as well. Nothing but ways to use against us. Another comment. That scares the hell out of me more than 1984. Now I feel lucky that I don't have many years left on this earth. That is, if there will still be an earth. Earth will be fine. I think that's where people get lost in like the global warming or whatever, climate change or whatever. The earth will be fine. What is at risk is us. Humans going to be fine. Are we going to get to this? That is what it's about. You know, even the animals and the plants, they're going to come back. Will we come back? Will we make it through this? That's the big if. Let me read another one. It says, if Bush didn't become president in 2000, none of this would have happened, and 9/11 would have not happened. Fascism at its best. I don't know if you could say 9/11 wouldn't have happened, but it is interesting because, you know, if y'all go back, and I remember this vividly because that's when I first started to really get into politics, but you had, who was it? It was Bill Clinton's vice president, Al Gore. He was running for president against Bush that first time. And actually, you know, if y'all want to talk about somebody getting robbed in a freaking election, it was that guy. You know, he actually won. He really did win. And then they had the recounts in Florida. And then they said, stop the recounts, because they knew it was going to come out as Biden, the winner, because the whole thing came down to Florida. And not Biden, Al Gore. They knew it was going to come out as Al Gore the winner. So Bush got all the top lawyers, and they stopped the counts, and then they pushed it all the way to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court was conservative 5-4. So the conservatives all voted to support Bush because that's what they're supposed to do. That's their political alignment. And y'all could say that the damn Supreme Court doesn't have any political alignments. You're freaking kidding yourself. Whoever gets they get appointed by, whatever party they get appointed by is the party that they align with. Period. The end. And so yeah, so the 5-4 vote on party lines, and boom, Bush is the president. He shouldn't have won. He actually lost. He went on to go do 2 terms. You know, and y'all talk about Trump won. Trump lost, y'all. I don't know. Get it through your head. He lost. They on both sides. But as far as like all of the votes and the mail-in votes, and that's the reason why he won and all this, no, that wasn't it. You know, maybe you want to talk about gerrymandering, but again, they do that on both sides. After counting the votes that they had, freaking Gore won. After counting the votes that they had, Trump lost.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? KCE, King Chaka.